We got Pacquiao going against Horn. Pacquiao throws 1,000 punches in 1 minute. Who's going to win this fight?
I mean, in boxing, you never know. You know, anything can happen. But, you know, you talk about that glassy look in the eye.
Yeah.
You know, Horn may have that before the first punch is thrown, just because of the level of this fight, the magnitude of it. And yes, it's in his home country, but he's fighting a legend in Manny Pacquiao. So first and foremost, can he get past that? Can he not have the deer in the headlights type of thing going on? If he can get past that and try to execute his game plan, he still got trouble.
Right.
Because he's fighting Manny Pacquiao. And Manny Pacquiao's getting older, but he's still got a lot left in the tank. And if Horn can pull this off, it's going to be a colossal upset.
Okay, so as long as we're working our way through big fights coming up, let's do the one everyone wants to talk about, Floyd versus Conor. But I don't want to do this, okay? The easy, boring conversation is it's a fraud, it's a fraud. There's no way for Conor to do a thing. Let's do this. Tyson Fury says 35 seconds, Conor can knock him out. That's his only path. If I put you in Conor's corner, okay? And you have a job to do, and you got to earn your money. And I'm assuming Conor wants to earn his money as well, meaning he wants to put on a fight, not just a show. How do you coach him to win that fight? I mean, what's the prayer? It's a prayer, fine. It's a Hail Mary from the 1-yard line. It's whatever it may be. We can all say those things. But what is that Hail Mary?
Well, I think, you know, I like the fight. You know, it's not my job to promote it. You know, I don't have any vested interest. But as a fight fan, you know, of MMA and boxing, like, I like the fact that Floyd is doing something unique, you know, for number 50. I think he's earned the right to do whatever he wants to do in a boxing ring. And I applaud Conor for taking this risk and saying, look, I'm an MMA legend, but we're going to do it on your terms, all boxing. So, and then when you're making upwards of $100 million, is there really any losers? But tactically in the fight, I don't think this is going to be as easy as people think. Ultimately, you know, I'm a Floyd Mayweather.
Easy for Floyd, as everybody thinks?
As easy for Floyd Mayweather. I'm a Floyd fan. Floyd's a legend, and he's going to take care of business. Don't get me wrong. But Floyd's 40 years old, and McGregor's a lot younger. He's naturally bigger. And if he has nothing else, he has a big left hand. He has one hand that, if he lands, can cause some trouble. Now, I don't think he's going to land that shot, but just the movements that Conor has, the awkward type of martial arts type of movements, it's going to take a few rounds for Floyd to kind of figure him out, and ultimately he will, but I think it'll be interesting early.
But would that be, I'm sorry, John, would that be your advice to Conor? You got to end this thing early. You can't stick around with Floyd, I assume, from round after round trying to box. You're going to have to try to end it early.
He's not going to end it early. I wouldn't focus on a knockout, because if he goes out there looking for a knockout, he can get knocked out. I think I wouldn't totally abandon the martial arts moves, like I said, some of the awkward things. Obviously, he can't lift his legs, and that's going to be a challenge in and of itself to not kick Floyd or grapple Floyd, and, you know, like he would in an octagon. But be who you are. We're going to work on boxing, but be awkward. Be as awkward as you can. Make it ugly. Because if it's a close fight where there's an argument, and man, Conor, you know, it's a 6th, 7th round, it's close, who's winning? That's a win for him because nobody's giving him a shot.
Right.
But it's really, really bad for boxing if Floyd loses. You guys are already losing ratings, and people are already paying more attention to MMA. If all of a sudden McGregor comes up and he beats a guy that no other boxer can beat, it's going to be bad for boxing.
Well, again, let me say, that's not going to happen, first and foremost.
So you're saying...
Let me get that off the table.
Okay, good.
The goal for Conor, I believe, is to make it interesting.
Yeah, and you just said a win would be going to the 6th or 7th round.
Let the people feel like they're paying for something, that it wasn't a 30-second blowout or a 1-round blowout. And boxing's going to be here forever. It was here long before I got here. It's going to be here longer after I left. It's a pastime. It's not going nowhere.
As much as the potential of being bad for boxing if Floyd loses, what's definitely good for boxing is Canelo Triple G. What are your expectations for that fight?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's going to boil down to the size difference. You know, obviously, Golovkin is a lot bigger than Canelo. Is that going to be too much? Can he take Golovkin's power? That's going to be like the biggest question for me. But Canelo, he doesn't get a lot of credit for his boxing ability. He's a slugger. He has an aggressive style, but he can box. He's very crafty. He's got a lot of fights. And I think he's going to show that and use that in this fight. I think it's going to be a great fight, and I think it's going to go the distance, and I think it's going to be very, very close.
Okay, but it sounds like you think Triple G when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
It's tough to say. It's tough to say. Like, even when I broadcast, it's tough to pick a winner. This is boxing. Like, if you saw my first one, you get hit with one shot, that can not only change the trajectory of a fight, but your career. So I just think with these matchups, it's cool to pick a winner, but it's also cool to say, I don't know what's going to happen, and that's the beauty of it.